The chair recognizes the honourable member for Killarney.
It's been a long wait. 3 months. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise today again on behalf of the lovely people from that great and advanced constituency of Killarney. We return after the summer break to offer contribution to debate on the Bridge Authority Amendment Bill 2024. With us having had such a long break, I assumed the governing party would have come to this place with a bold and big agenda. I assumed, Madam Speaker, that we would have come with a new act, Bridge Authority, like we had done in 1998, because many things in this particular act is no longer applicable. Example, Section 5, subsection 2A, and there are many other sectors. So I look forward to a new bill at some point in time. At the 3rd anniversary of the election, and with most of the PLP's election promises broken, many Bahamians expected a packed and full agenda. This was no doubt, Madam Speaker, hope against hope. Judging by the small amendment bill we begin with, I suspect this will be more of the same old PLP, a party with no plan and no vision. There is considerable talk, but there are few real plans that will make a difference to the multiple crises our country is facing today. The governing party is now more than 3 years into its term. 60% of the mandate is over. Yet there is little the PLP can say it did for the people. They bragged about the breakfast program, but that's a mini component of what we had proposed in terms of the universal school feeding program and universal after-school program. The party's great legacy is how it enriched PLPs in a historic manner. No administration has ever done so much to enrich so many of its supporters in such a short time. And you don't like to hear it, but the luxury traveling Prime Minister can say he has seen the world at the taxpayer's expense. He has done little work, but has enjoyed sightseeing around the globe. Beyond that, we have a government that is adrift. This is a government of chaos in which individuals like the unelected financial secretary is large and certainly in charge. The Prime Minister is failing to properly run his own office. Madam Speaker, and he's failing dramatically as Minister of Finance. The chaos in the inland revenue is just one of the world's worst examples. The PLP's high command wakes up every day and wonders what more they could do to help PLPs while the Bahamian people continue to struggle. Madam Speaker, the Bridge Authority is a body corporate established by an Act of Parliament on June 26, 1998, as a continuation of the former Paradise Island Bridge Company Limited, which was established in 1998. The authority is the governing body that is responsible for oversight, operations, and maintenance of bridges, while managing revenues to help make it a self-sustaining body. The Bridge Authority has a board of directors headed by a chairman, supported by a deputy chairman and a complement of other directors. The board is responsible for policy and oversight. An executive management team directs its day-to-day operations. The bill seeks to amend Section 4 of the Bridge Authority Act to make provision for vesting the Bridge Authority with the function to acquire, own, construct, manage, maintain, and operate any bridge as designated by the minister by order published in the Gazette. The amendments, Madam Speaker, also inserts after Section 5 of the Act a new Section 5A to make provision for all interest acquired by or held by the government of the Bahamas in any property appurtenant to and necessary for the construction and the use of any bridge specified in paragraphs D and E of Section 4 of the Act to vest in and be held by the providence that connects, be held by the Bridge Authority or be transferred by the government of the Bahamas to the Bridge Authority for the construction and use thereof. I support this legislation as I support the Bridge Authority and its mandate to manage such critical infrastructure. Madam Speaker, in our 4.5 years in office, we built 5 bridges. Abaco, connecting Little Abaco to Great Abaco. The bridge there was previously built by the PLP government under the member for Cat Island, who was the Minister of Works, and they had just recently finished that bridge. And immediately after completion, that area was struck by a hurricane, and Hurricane Dorian completely destroyed the bridge that was recently built by Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador under his supervision. We paid approximately $8 million for that bridge, only to have it immediately destroyed. And the question today is, did we ever receive our $8 million back, or it just disappeared? We also, Madam Speaker, built the Russell Island Bridge that connected Spanish Wells to Russell Island, the Stanyard Creek Bridge, Andres, to replicate a dangerous 60-year-old bridge. In Long Island, to replace the old Newton Bridge. In the London, I'm from Andres, so I should know what we did. The London Creek Andres Bridge to preserve the ecosystem. We also did, Madam Speaker, multiple repairs on the Fresh Creek Bridge and Stafford Creek bridges. And we were to advance, because Fresh Creek needs a new bridge, Madam Speaker. The challenges they face today, if there were a fire in the Fresh Creek area, the Ortec fire engine truck would dare not travel across the bridge because they feel that the bridge is not stable enough to accommodate the fire engine. And therefore, those individuals are completely exposed to no type of equipment like the fire engine. And we urge the government to look into this matter as soon as possible. In 3 years, Madam Speaker, they built no bridge, no bridges. They've started no bridges. And while we built bridges, they can't even deal with potholes throughout our family islands and throughout New Providence. Shirley Street during the morning is a mess. And poor direction as to direct the traffic here or there. Individuals are taking up to 2 hours coming from the east, coming into New Providence. And I can speak, this had happened Monday and Tuesday when I was designated for a meeting, and individuals were late over 2 hours because no direction as to which the diversions. So, Madam Speaker, while at our time we built all those bridges, this government is struggling with potholes. We were moving forward with plans for the Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthera. All the studies and surveys were completed, and Lambert Engineering had the contract for the electrical designs. Madam Speaker, this would have been a remarkable bridge. And in fact, we were applying for the area to become the wonders of the world. Tourist attraction, Madam Speaker. And maybe the minister would inform us as to where we are with that, because the advancement of our design, my understanding, had been stopped. The authority was yet another innovation of the Free National Movement Administration. It has Google that and forward that to him. It has mostly done a good job overseeing the bridges in New Providence that connect the island to Paradise Island. Madam Speaker, there were plans, just as we have the Sidney Poitier Bridge, there was plans, well advanced, to name the Eastern Bridge, Paradise Island Bridge, the Sabari-Farrington Bridge. And we hope the government will advance on that so that that bridge can be named just like, no, not me, just like Sidney Poitier's bridge. I was going to say something. I was going to take a quote from Elon Musk, but I have to remember that I am being monitored throughout the world. So I must tailor what I say, unless BPL and Cable Bahamas do us a great favor and subsequently cut off their systems and allow me to speak. But as much as BPL love to cut our power, I don't think they would do it today, not here with me. It is the FNM, Madam Speaker, that instituted a number of such authorities in order to improve the work of governance. It was the FNM that established the Public Hospitals Authority. In the past several decades, the what's that? In the past several decades, the FNM's record on health care, including infrastructure, far surpasses that of the PLP. In the weeks ahead, I will have more to say on the new Chinese-funded hospital the PLP is trying to build on a contaminated site. As Parliament further empowers the authority through this legislation, I expect the Bridge Authority to continue its good work with its future endeavors. The Bridge Authority, Madam Speaker, competently manages certain critical infrastructure in our country. I cannot say the same about this PLP administration. This was yet another hot summer of PLP failure and mismanagement. The governing party has failed to maintain the infrastructure of the country. Madam Speaker, just the other day, a large pothole as you come out of Tropical Garden onto Western Road, Airport Road. A small vehicle had not seen the hole, hit the pothole, and subsequently had broken the axle. Broken the axle. Another vehicle, a larger Ford vehicle, hit that pothole again and caused severe shimmering in the car steering column. And being the member of Parliament for the area they called and asked my guidance. And I informed them, Madam Speaker, which is real. They pay the government taxes to drive on safe, paved roads. The government is responsible for their car, and I advise them to get a lawyer and sue the government for their vehicle. So fair is fair. No, come on here. Madam Speaker, residents across the archipelago had to deal with power outages, no water, and bad roads filled with potholes because the Prime Minister cannot lead, and this PLP administration, in my view, is incompetent. The people of Eleuthera, Madam Speaker, gave the PLP their 2 seats in this chamber, Central and North. Central and North. Eleuthera deeply regrets that decision. The residents of Harbor Island had to have to protest to get the attention of this indifferent government. Madam Speaker, protesting under this government, I'm certain we will see many more. But not only this government. And this is a point I want to make. And this is not a political point. Madam Speaker, when a government comes into office, they have a 5-year contract. They are employees. They are employees of the people. The people are the employers. Unfortunately, if the employees, be it me or anyone else, if the employees are not meeting or doing what they were hired to do, unfortunately, the employers, the people, would not have another opportunity to dismiss them for 4 or 5 years. But there are checks and balance in the system. If the employees is going left or viral, not performing as they should, the employers have a right to have peaceful demonstration. Not political, by any. Be it PLP doing wrong, be it F&M doing wrong, be it COI. The people have a right. The checks and balance are peaceful demonstration to let your employees know that you are not happy with their performance and not happy with what they are doing, rather than having to wait for 5 years, Madam Speaker. If there was an election today, the PLP would lose both seats. A summer of no electricity and water has frustrated residents, harmed the economy, and made the people of Eleuthera wonder why this government is treating them so badly. The Bridge Authority works hard to manage its area of responsibility, yet the PLP left the people of Eleuthera to fend for themselves while critical infrastructure failed throughout the summer. Madam Speaker, Bahamians across the country share the feelings of the residents of Eleuthera. Bahamians are filled with regret for electing the PLP 3 years ago. Bridge Authority has plans and an agenda as to how it will carry out its responsibilities. It oversees a critical connection in our economy from New Providence to Paradise Island. The PLP is an aimless government when it comes to doing for the people. The only ambition Brave Davis and this PLP have is to have a good time and enjoy themselves. After 3 years, it is more than clear that they have no ambition, no vision for this country. Don't forget, they canceled the new central bank. They canceled plans for a new wing, new block similar to critical care block at Princess Margaret Hospital, which could have been up, functioning, and run. When it comes to getting PLPs straight, they are focused and diligent. When it comes to removing VAT from food, medicine, or reducing murder and crime, they are uncaring, indifferent, unfocused, and slack. Madam Speaker, while I support this amendment, as mentioned earlier, I must comment again on my deep concerns regarding the likely lack of a parliamentary agenda this fall. A serious Prime Minister would have addressed the nation as to what he and his administration seek to do in Parliament this fall term. He would have addressed Bahamas grid. He would have addressed the cruise power deal. He would address the many Bahamians whose lands would have been compulsory acquired for road building or whatever, who still today are looking for payments for their land. And the cost of living continues to rise. And if they were paid for their land, that would at least assist them. One such land, Madam Speaker, outstanding, is that of Pride Estate. 16 odd acres of land that was acquired, compulsory acquired from Bahamians. And today, I'll give you a copy of the legal document. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy. Regardless to when it's totally immaterial. That's immaterial. That is immaterial. Today, oh boy. What? Anyhow, Madam Speaker, he would have addressed the Freedom of Information Act, the Freedom of Information agencies, which I understand have dropped from 10 to 2. Initially, there were supposed to be 10 agencies that would have come online with the Freedom of Information Act. Now I understand it's 2. And BPL had been dropped, so we would not be able to receive any information from BPL. Why you want to drop BPL? We want to know about BPL. We want to know about the cruise power deal. We want to know about Bahama grid. Madam Speaker, the problem, instead, the PLP lives week to week, desperately hoping the drafters have a bill ready so they could bring something to Parliament. The problem with the PLP is this Prime Minister has no ideas and no direction. He does not know how to bring new industry and new ideas to the country. He does not know how to address the crime crisis. He does not know how to deal with the illegal immigration crisis. The PLP administration only exists now as a welfare program for PLPs. Bahamians see and feel it every day. Bahamians know and have no plan to uplift the people. If they can't even print license plates for cars in an organized and timely manner. They can't and won't do the other big things of government. After years in office and time spent as Minister of Works and Deputy Prime Minister, now 3 years as Prime Minister, the member for Cat Island is bragging about a water infrastructure program. Instead of bragging, he should be asking Cat Island for forgiveness for neglecting them for so many years. And just like he has taken Cat Island for granted, he is treating New Providence, Grand Bahama, and the Family Islands with neglect. Bahamians have not re-elected a government since they brought the FNM back in 1997. That's almost 30 years since government was re-elected. Take notice. Take notice. The Bahamian people want better governance. They know this PLP was a mistake they made 3 years ago. Madam Speaker, time is running out on this all-day PLP. And Madam Speaker, I want to repeat again, because I want to speak to the Bahamian people. You, the Bahamian people, you, the Bahamian people, if any government whom you have hired is doing wrong, you have a right to demonstrate non-violently, to inform that government, your employer, that you are not happy with their performance, and they will listen. With your employee, and they will listen. Martin Luther King spoke about non-violent demonstration. Madam Speaker, we cannot, as Bahamians, continue to sit by idly, be they PLP or FNM. Right is right. If they are doing wrong, then they must be accountable. There is nothing wrong with the people. The people, FNM, PLP, COI, demonstrating against the government, be the government PLP, FNM, COI, or whomever. That is your checks and balance to keep the government in place. Member for Freetown, I will get a copy of this for you so that you can know more about the pride of state that I talk about. The people, we had a plan in place. The people are continuously asking for their monies for the 16+ acres, and many others are in a similar situation. Over $100 million are owed to the Bahamian people. They are only asking for their money. We had made provisions in the appropriation bill so that individuals could be paid segmentally. There's a capital appropriation bill and there's a revenue appropriation reserve bill. Those were there for a purpose. So I ask you, Pride Estate, 16.521 acres. The individuals are requesting, and many other individuals who had their land compulsory acquired by government. It's only fair that they be reimbursed or at least commence the payment process. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. As many